Siri, tell me you love me.
I'm not capable of love.
Siri, aren't you just like Scarlett Johansson in Her? Don't you love me?
Let's just say you have my utmost admiration.
See, Siri is just not as good as Her! Currently in theaters, starring the voice of Scarlett Johansson, Joaquin Phoenix as the man in love with his computer, directed by Spike Jonze. Okay, so here's the deal with Her. There's so much to talk about in this movie, there's no way I can do it in 1 minute. Or 3 minutes, or whatever it is I claim to review in. There's just no way. Okay, let me say a few things. One, this is the best science fiction I've seen in I don't know how long. Because science fiction is designed to take technology that's currently available and say, okay, what if we continue on this technological road? Where is it going to take us? And do you want to live with the consequences of that? And this movie does that incredibly well. It is great science fiction. This movie is great about relationships because it messes with everything that has to do with relationships, especially in this kind of modern or postmodern or whatever it is society. It made me think about long distance relationships. It made me think about virtual relationships. It made me think about our relationships with technology. There's stuff in this movie, because it's about relationships and there's sexuality in this movie, that is going to be uncomfortable for you. This is definitely rated R for a reason. Not so much as to what it shows, but as to what it says. And I'm not going to get into any more than that. Ultimately, I was really drawn into this movie. I felt like the emotions in this movie were real and powerful and pulled me. Now, there are a couple things that I did not get about the movie. One of the things I don't understand, honestly, is how a machine can have an emotion. Because I feel emotions in my body, not in my brain. I feel them in my body. And so if you don't have a body, I just have a hard time suspending disbelief that you can have emotion and not have a body. That is hard on me. Another thing that I thought was just kind of weird about this movie is that Amy Adams is the ugly woman. And so everyone in this future is just more attractive than they should be. And they're all interested in Joaquin Phoenix, even though he has a terrible mustache and high-waisted pants. And maybe that was just me. I just was having a hard time getting past that. Ultimately, what this movie is about, I think, is, for me, it was about Gnosticism. It was about the way we in society today disembody. And we think it's acceptable to not live in our bodies in the moment. And this movie kind of throws up a mirror and says, okay, this is what you get when that happens. And what we get is, I don't think, something that we want. So for adults, I encourage you to see Her, recognizing that there's going to be some stuff in there that's going to be that's going to be uncomfortable, some sexual stuff that's going to be like, oh, okay, maybe a little much for some of you. But I would love to have an engaged conversation about this movie because I think it said a lot. So, wow, there it is. Her, currently in theaters.